Well, good morning, everybody. Good Wednesday morning. Hope you're all doing well. I'm trying to reposition this webcam after doing the season ticket game last night. I have a little bit different presentation, so trying to make sure get back to our normal Stratomatic presentations as much as possible. So hope you all are doing well. Of course, can't go off without the coffee. That's the main objective. And not a milestone per se, but a benchmark is this is game number 300 in the replay. 299 games have been played prior, so game number 300. It's also the major league debut of Texas pitcher Bob Malloy. He only was in the major leagues for a very short time. He had two starts in 1987. Then he came back in 1990, a couple of relief appearances with Montreal, but he spent most of his time in the minor leagues. And I actually pulled up a picture of Bob Malloy. Not sure how well it's going to show on here. But anyway, that ring light is kind of getting in the way. Let me move over here. There's Bob Malloy. He was an all-star in the 1989 Texas League with the Tulsa Drillers. So that's Bob Malloy. And he will be making his major league debut in this ball game. Like I said, he only had two starts in real world in 1987. And this is one of them. Going to be facing Dan Petry and the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium. Tiger Stadium, singles not too good, 1-2 for lefties, 1 for righties, but home runs very juicy, 1-14 for lefties and 1-11 for right-handers. Detroit won the real game 8-7 in extra innings. It was actually extra innings they won that game. And ironically, Texas scored a run in the top of the 10th, but Detroit came back with 2 in the bottom of the 10th and won that ball game. Hey, Bob, good to see you. And Jeff, good to see both of you. Like I said, it's not really a milestone. It's just a benchmarker. You know, when you hit the ones on the multiples of 100, that kind of stands out a little bit, at least in my mind. Still got a long way to go, obviously. We're still in, the tail end of the month of May. But you still got June, July, August, and September. So 4 months, basically, of games to go after this. So, and we haven't finished May yet. May, of course, has 31 days, so there's some more time for that to go on. The game tomorrow will be Minnesota and Milwaukee, and it will be the return of Paul Molitor. He comes off the disabled list and will be making his first start since back in April in the replay. So I'm sure the Brewers are looking forward to that. Texas comes to the game 19-22, Detroit 22-20. You see the Malloy card, you see the Petry card. So we'll get Malloy out of the way for now. Dan Petry, 1987, was 9-7 with a 5.61 ERA. Not that impressive. In the replay, he's got a record of 3-1 and an earned run average of 2.80. So he's really been pitching lights out in the replay compared to his card. But that's why they roll the dice. Both pitchers have +1s for their runner holds on stealing bases. So we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, you got Don Slaught catching and his passball rating of 16. That's been infamous in this replay prior, so we'll see if that comes up again. And like I said, this is the third of 4 played on May 26th. The Milwaukee-Minnesota game tomorrow will be the final game on May 26th. There are only 4 games scheduled. And then on May 27th, a new set of opponents will be coming around, and new games will be coming out as well. All right, so we're ready to go. Oddibe McDowell will lead things off for the Rangers. He's kind of struggled in the replays, only hitting 191, a homer and 10 driven in, and he hit 241 real world. So we're underway from Detroit, 310, and that's a leadoff double for Oddibe McDowell. Talk about a way to start your ball game. Oddibe McDowell with a leadoff double. And here's Scott Fletcher, shortstop. Fletcher hitting 307 on the replay, a homer and 28 driven in. He hit 287 real world. First havoc roll, nothing happening. We get a 6-8 on Petrie, and that's a walk. So Petrie off to a rough start. A double and now a walk puts 2-1 with nobody out for Ruben Sierra, the dangerous Ruben Sierra. Sierra on the replay hitting 282, 14 homers, 33 driven in. He had 263 real world. But that 14 homers puts him near the top of the league lead. 1-7, but he will strike out on this one. So big strikeout for Petrie to get after giving up the double and the walk. So he gets the first out, and that brings up Pete Incaviglia. Talk about strikeouts. He's got them. In 159 at-bats in the replay, he has struck out 63 times already. Struck out 168 times real world in 509 at-bats. He had 271 real world with 27 homers and 80 runs batted in. In the replay, 258 for his average, 7 homers, 24 driven in. Petrie to Incaviglia. It's a 4-6, and that's going to be another walk. So Petrie has walked his second of the inning, and now the bases are loaded with only one out. And now DH, designated hitter Larry Parrish, steps to the plate. Parrish on the replay hitting 236, 7 homers and 23 driven in. He hit 268 real world. That's a 4-10, right-handed, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Pat Sheridan playing center field today. He's a 2E9 in center field. 2 and an 8, that's going to guarantee a minimum a sacrifice fly. I think he'll get to it, but it's probably an F2, and it is. F2 means sacrifice fly. That's a 9, and he is an E9. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It is not, but the F2 means it is a sacrifice fly. So Parrish will sacrifice fly to center field, scores McDowell, and the Rangers grab a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. Everyone else will hold. That'll bring up Gino Petralli, usually a catcher, but he is playing first base in this one, giving Pete O'Brien the game off, and I guess they're trying to get his bat in the lineup somehow. So he played catcher, third base, first base, and left field. So in this one, and he also played second base. So he's at first base in this one with a 4.25 rating. On the replays, hitting 281, no homers, 7 driven in. He had 302 real world. So being the 300 hitter, they were trying to get him in the lineup somehow. 210 for Petralli. He's going to ground to first, and that's going to end the inning as Evans will take it to the bag himself. But the Rangers get a run on the board. Sacrifice fly from Larry Parrish. Gets it done. They get one. They obviously could have had more, but Petrie pitched out of it. So we go to the bottom of the first, and now the major league debut of Bob Malloy, a right-hander. He had 2 starts, went 11 innings, gave up 13 hits, gave up 6 home runs in 11 innings. His whip was 1.45, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Amazingly, he did not take a loss. His ERA is 6.55, but he got no decisions in both of his starts. So he will come out for his major league debut and face Lou Whitaker. Whitaker hitting 271 on the replay, 11 homers, 35 driven in. He's really got the long ball going. He only had 16 real world and 600 at-bats. In 170 at-bats, he's already got 11. So Malloy to Whitaker, 5-6, and that is going to be a ground ball first base C. So fielding it is Petralli. He'll flip to Malloy covering, 1 down. So Malloy, despite being his major league debut, did not forget the basics of covering first base. Just like they do in spring training, on the ground balls, he ran over to cover first base and made the play. That'll bring up Darrell Evans. Evans on the replay hitting 254, 10 homers, 27 driven in. He had 257 real world. That's a 2-4, and that's a fly ball to right field. 2 down, so Malloy off to a good start. Will now face Kirk Gibson. Gibson on the replay hitting 408 in just 76 at-bats. He was injured for a lot of April, so he doesn't have enough bats to qualify for the league lead, but he is hitting 408, 6 homers, 17 driven in those 76 at-bats. In real world, in 487 at-bats, he had 277. That's a 2-7, and that's a 1-19 single. So that's a base hit for Kirk Gibson, and the hot hitting continues for Gibson. Malloy is a 0 hold, and Slot's a +1 arm, so +1. So Gibson's going to look to get the lead. He needs a 5 or a 6 to obtain a good lead. And he does not get it, so he will hold. And here is Alan Trammell. Trammell on the replay hitting .389. 10 homers, 27 driven in. He hit .343 real world. 5-10 for Malloy. It's a ground ball shortstop X. We are looking at Fletcher. 3E26. So a 3E26 for Fletcher. And that's an 11. 3 and 11 should be okay. 3 and 11 is a G2, which is good enough. That's a 15. Fletcher is an E26. E26, there's no 15. There's a 12, 17, and 18, but no 15. So Fletcher is able to make the play, and Bob Malloy pitches a shutout first inning in his major league debut as Texas keeps a 1-0 lead going into the second inning. And Petrie back out. Malloy's fatigue is a 6. Petrie's is only a 5. Don Slott will step up, catcher for the Rangers, hitting .262 on the replay. 6 homers, 18 driven in. He hit .224 real world. 6-8 for Petrie is going to be another walk. That's the third walk issued by Petrie. So he is having some control issues. Maybe feel like he's getting squeezed by the home plate umpire. I'm not sure. Here's Jeff Kunkel. Kunkel playing third base, giving Steve Buechele the game off. So a lot of backups in this game for the Rangers. Jeff Kunkel hitting .286 on the replay in just 28 at-bats. He only had 32 at-bats real world, so he's getting close to the end. In the replay, no homers, 4 driven in. In real world, 1 homer, 2 driven in. He hit .219 and 32 at-bats. In 28 at-bats, he's hitting .286. But his time is coming very close to being over with. 3-10, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, but it's not good. It's a 1. But the devil die is a 1. How do you like that? A single check for right-handers only gives you a base hit on a 1, and what does the devil die do? It shows up as a 1. Go figure. Go figure. Devil die coming out early. So first and second, nobody out for Jerry Brown, the governor. Brown, I believe he's going to bunt here. First and second, nobody out. They want to get 2 guys in scoring position. So first we'll do the havoc. Nothing happened here. We'll roll the dice. 1, 2, or 3, the corners will be in. 4, 5, or 6, the corners will be back. So they're back. They're not expecting the bunt. So he's going to maintain the B bunting. He will keep that rating. And we'll go to our bunt chart under column B. First, we'll see who fields it. And it's a 2, which says it's going to be the pitcher. So it's going back to Petrie. But basically an 8, a 9 or less, because he's a B bunter. A 9 or less is a good bunt. That's an 11, though, under B. That's a 1 and 2. So it's 1 ball, 2 strike count. And we're going to try it again. But if he gets that same result, he will strike out. That's a 2. It's still going back to Petrie. And that's a 6. That's defense. So defense says batter drops down a bunt, and the defense has the option of throwing the batter out at first or going for the lead runner. The lead runner in this case is only Don Slott. He's a 10, so this might be a good chance to throw for the lead runner because he's not very fast, obviously. So we're looking at the speed of Slott, which is a 10. -4 is a 6. Petrie's defense is a 2. So that makes it an 8. So 1 to 8, he's safe, but at 9 to 20, they'll get the lead runner. So they're going to try for the lead runner at third base. Petrie comes off the mound and spins and is going to throw to third base to try to get the lead dog. 1 to 8, the runner gets in safely. 9 to 20, the force play is successful. That's an 8. He gets in there safely. Wow. So Brown reaches on the fielder's choice. Everybody's safe. But you had to think it was a good gamble to get that lead runner. 60% chance you were going to get him out. It just didn't happen. So now the bases are loaded. Bases are now loaded with nobody out. And Odeby McDowell, your batter, infield back for the double play. They need outs. 4-7, and that's a 1-14 single, but that's an 18, so he lines it to second. Snagged by Whitaker, 1 down. That's an important out. You get the out with no base runner advancement. And now a double play gets you out of the inning. So double play will get you out of the inning. And Fletcher, the batter. Fletcher walked his first time up. That's a 2. Chance for balk or pass ball. We're looking at the balk rating of Petrie. His balk rating is a 3. So 1-3, he will balk. And he does not. Pitch to Fletcher. 2-5, and that's trouble. 1-5 is a triple. That's an 8. It'll be a single, 2 stars. So 2-run single off the bat of Scott Fletcher, and the Rangers take a 3-0 lead on the Tigers and give young Bob Malloy a 3-0 lead to work with. Runners on the corners. Runners are on the corners. Big hit for Fletcher. Now 3-0 Texas. Hello, Bart. Hello, Jeremiah. And hello, Kathy. Happy coffee to you. Trivia question, top of the third. Everybody put your thinking caps on for that one. Scott Fletcher will be looking to get a lead. He needs a 2 through 6 or a 10. Of course, if we roll an 8, that means he's picked off. That's a 12, so he's got a hold. Runners are at the corners. 1 out, 2 in, 3-0 Texas. Ruben Sierra, the batter. Petrie and the Tigers need a double play in the worst way. 3-12. That's a ballpark single check. Again, it's only a 1-2, but the double die comes up. We've had 2 ballpark single checks, and they've been successful both times because the double die was a 1 the first time. It's a 2 the second time. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. If you know anything about statistical probability, this is blowing that out of the water. And it's because of this. It's because of that thing right there. That thing right there. That's what's causing it right there. That's exactly what's causing it. All right, 4-0 Texas. We move on. And here is Pete Incaviglia. (6-3), and that's a ballpark single check. This time it's finally higher than a 2. So we get a line out to short for out number 2. Two down. And that'll bring up Larry Parrish, the DH. Parrish. 1-7, and he strikes out to end the inning. Second strikeout for Petrie, but damage done. A 3-run second inning, and they have given young Bob Malloy a 4-0 lead to work with. Can he hold up is the question. Matt Noakes will lead off for Detroit. He's playing right field today, mostly a catcher. Did play some third, left, and now he's in right field just to get his bat in the lineup. Noakes is hitting .262, 13 homers, 36 driven in the replay. And in real world, he had 32 homers and hit .289. So they're trying to get Sparky, trying to get his bat in the lineup somehow or another. 2-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to first. That's handled by Petrali, 1 away. So 1 down, and that brings up Pat Sheridan, center fielder. Sheridan hitting .256 on the replay. 2 homers, 14 driven in. He hit .259 real world. 5-4 lefty is going to be a catcher X. So the catcher in this case is Slot, but nobody's on base, so there can't be a pass ball. The 3-E-10, 3-13. Might be a foul out of some sort. Let's see here. 3-13 is a foul out. That's an 11. And Slot is an E10. E10, there's a 12 there, but no 11, so it will be a foul out to Slot for out number 2. And fortunately for Texas, no one was on base, or that probably would have been a pass ball or wild pitch of some sort. Here's Johnny Grubb. Grubb on the replay struggling at 184 and 49 at bats. No homers, 5 driven in. But then again, he only hit 202 real world and 114 at bats. So not too far from his average, actually. 3-3, and that's a ballpark single check. That's 2, but this time the devil die comes up as an 11. So it will be a pop up to third. And yeah, there's some. I live down the road from a rock quarry, and there are a lot of heavy trucks that ride down the street. I don't live in a subdivision. I live right on the main drag. And it's a nice day, so I got the windows open. So you're going to hear noises. That's unavoidable. But when the weather like this, like high 60s, low 70s, sunshine, and a gentle breeze, I'll take it, and I'll keep the windows open, and I'll deal with the noise. All right, so we go to the top of the third, and Miss Kathy has a trivia question for us. So if you want to put your attentive thinking caps on and see if you can come up with the answer to whatever question she presents. All right, it says, how many different uniforms did Tom Seaver wear throughout his great career? Let me see. Let's see here. I don't know. Are you counting? There's a caveat to this because he played for one team twice. So are we counting that as 1 or 2? Because technically they had different uniforms during those times. But otherwise, you're looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's either going to be 4 or 5, depending on if you count the Mets twice. If you don't count the Mets twice, I'm guessing 4. Because he played for Cincinnati, New York, and both Soxes. So I'm going to guess 4. Hey, Chuck, good to see you. Your Tigers are struggling right now, Chuck. Maybe they can get it going later, but right now they're kind of struggling. We'll see what Kathy has for an answer. And it's 4. Okay. So I know he played for the Mets twice. So played for the Mets, then went to the Reds, and then went to the White Sox, and then went to the Red Sox to finish out his career. But in between leaving the Reds, he went back to the Mets, and I think it was 83, and then in 84 or 85 went to the White Sox, and then went to Boston in 86 to help them with their World Series run. All right, thank you for that question, Miss Kathy. We go on to the top of the third. And it'll be Gino Petralli against Petrie. 4-7. Petralli's a switch hitter. 4-7, 1-14 single. That's a 20. So he lines it to Whitaker. And there's one away. So one down for Don Slaught, the catcher. 2-7, and that's going to be a strikeout. Third strikeout for Petrie, but it's the 3 walks that got him in trouble early on. 2 up, 2 down for Jeff Kunkel. That's a 3-6, and he's going to strike him out. So back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Petrie. Keeps the score 4-0, and with the Major League debut of Bob Malloy going on, you would think Detroit could get to him and get some runs, but we'll see. He's escaped the first 2 innings without much problem. Only 1 hit by the Tigers to this point. Mike Heath will do the leadoff duties for Detroit. Heath hitting .295 on the replay, 3 homers, 13 driven in. He hit .281 real world. That's a 6-7, and that's a fly ball to right field. Boy, 6-8 would have been a home run chance, but that's a fly ball to right field. And that's going to be hauled in by Sierra for out number 1. It'll bring up the number 9 man, Tom Brookins. Brookins on the replay hitting .260, 2 homers, 10 driven in. He hit .241 real world. That's a 2-7, and that's a 1-13 single. 2 is good for a base hit for Tom Brookens. Brookens might be looking to get a lead, try to shake up Malloy a little bit. He's a 6 or a 7. Does not get the lead, so he'll hold. And here comes top of the order, and Lou Whitaker. Whitaker grounded out to first baseman Petralli his first time up. 6'6" lefty, and that is a ground ball first base C. Boy, he just missed a home run. 6'7", 6'8", and 6'9" home runs. But 6'6", ground ball first base C. So Petralli again will field it and flip to Malloy covering. Second time Whitaker is grounded out in that fashion. Going to second is Brookens, but now there are 2 outs. So it's going to take a 2-out clutch hit from Darrell Evans to get it done. In the clutch, Evans is a good clutch hitter. 1-6 and 1-10 are extra hits he will obtain in that column 1 to help him out in the clutch. They'll get a 4-8 instead, but doesn't matter. That's an in-home run chance off Malloy, and you know it's gone. You don't even need this stupid D20. It's an in automatic home run as long as he has normal power. Darrell Evans hit 34 home runs, so I think he has normal power. It's a 2-run bomb for Darrell Evans, and that cuts the lead in half, 4-2. For Evans, home run number 11, RBIs 28 and 29 on the replay, and the lead is cut to 4-2. And the Tiger fans at Tiger Stadium have something happy to cheer about, as the 2-run homer from Darrell Evans gets things a little bit closer. Here's Kirk Gibson. 3-11 for Gibson. He's hit by the pitch. How do you like that? You get a home run allowed, and the next batter gets hit by the pitch. And so now the umpires are kind of coming out and talking to Malloy, saying, "Hey, rookie, don't do that mess. We don't play that here." All right, so Gibson's going to see if he can pay him back by stealing a base. Needs a 5 or a 6 to get the lead. Does not get the lead. So that'll bring up Trammell. Trammell, first time up, grounded to short. That's a 6-8, and that's a ballpark in-home run chance. It's 1-11, and that's a 1. It's gone. A 2-run bomb for Alan Trammell. And we got a tie game. So how about that? We have a home run, a hit by pitch, and the hit by pitch is followed up by another home run. So Alan Trammell, home run number 11 for him also, and also RBIs 28 and 29. So all of a sudden, a 4-score inning off of Malloy, and Malloy seems to be a little shaken up here as he is in the middle of it, giving up two-run homers. Here's Noakes. 3-6 for Noakes. That's a ground ball to second to end the inning. But a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning for the Tigers, and we got a tie game at 4 at the end of 3 complete. And Dan Petrie coming back out now, a little more juice in his step, knowing that the Tigers scored 4 runs for him to tie the game, getting back to basically a do-over now. There's Jerry Brown. 4-4, switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball center field X. Sheridan, 2E9. 2E9. 2-12, he'll get to that. E9, and that is a 9. So that shouldn't be a problem. It is not. So Sheridan will make the play. And out goes Jerry Brown. So that's now 6 in a row retired by Petrie. Here's O.B. McDowell. 4-7, 1-14 single. That's an 18. So he will line to second. 7 in a row retired now by Petrie. And that brings up Fletcher. Shortstop, he's walked and singled. 6-11, that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Trammell. You know he's going to get to it with a 1. We're looking at E21. That's the only thing to worry about is E21. E21, 6-15 and 17. Those are the numbers he's got to avoid. 6-15 and 17. And 6. It comes up with a 6. Do you believe that? E21 and a 6. It's going to be an error on Trammell. He boots it. E6 on Alan Trammell. Just did the old took his eye off of it thing. Fletcher looking to get the lead, needs a 2 through 6 or a 10. Does not get it. He'll hold. And here's Ruben Sierra. Sierra struck out and singled. That's a 4-9. Switcher to batting left. That's a fly ball to right field, hauled in by Noakes. And that will end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the fourth, still tied at 4. And Chuck, if for a separate little trivia question, can he name the actor who played Malloy on Adam 12? Pretty famous actor. Was also in The Twilight Zone and some other shows as well. Had his name was an alliteration where his first name and his last name start with the same letter. All right. Here is Pat Sheridan. 6-6, and that's going to be a ground ball. Boy, he just missed it again. That's the third time he's hit the ground ball first base C and just missed the in-home run. Martin Milner, you got it. So Sheridan is out 3-1 on the ground out. One away for John Grubb. Johnny Grubb. 2-8 for Grubb, and he's going to ground it to short. Fletcher is there, 2 down. And here is Mike Heath. That's a 3-9, and that's going to be a walk. 2-out walk to Heath. And let's see, Heath's not going to be held, not going to go anywhere. Brings up Tommy Brookins. Brookins singled and scored his first time up. 2-7. 1-13 is going to be a single. He'll do it again. He'll single. Don't know if he's going to score or not, but he singled. Just 1 star. Heath goes to second. But now Lou Whitaker in a clutch situation is up to the plate. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 2-10. He also loses a hit on 3-2, 3-9, and 3-10. So definitely anti-clutch for Mr. Whitaker. 5-2, though, is going to be a walk, and that's going to load the bases. That's actually the first walk issued by Malloy. But it will load the bases with 2 outs for Darrell Evans, who homered his last time up. So Malloy definitely needs to be careful. A lot of in-home run chances on his card. Three 3-7, and that's a strikeout, though. So Malloy bows up and strikes out. Darrell Evans with the bases loaded, his first strikeout. So he gets his second walk and his first strikeout. And more importantly, he causes the Tigers to leave the bases loaded and keep the score at 4-4. So we go to the top of the 5th. Pete Incaviglia, your batter. Pete Incaviglia. And I've watched a couple of older movies, not that old. I think they're from the 90s. So depending on what your definition of old is. But a couple of Michael Douglas movies that I've caught up on that were some of my favorites from back in the day. Don't know if you're a Michael Douglas fan as far as what he's in. I know he's, known for things like Wall Street and Romancing the Stone and stuff like that. But 2 maybe a little more obscure movies I watched that he was in that I really enjoyed. One of them was called Falling Down, about a guy basically having a psychotic attack. And the other one's called The Game, which was very interesting. That one had Sean Penn in it as well. And now for some reason I'm canceling my D20, which is probably a good thing because it's so what do you call it? It's so it's not stuck in here now. I don't know where it went. It just kind of disappeared on me. I don't remember using it for anything particular. So I'm going to go get another D20 until I can figure out what happened to this one. That's pretty weird. I know it can get stuck in here, so very, very odd that that would happen, but probably a good time to change out the D20 anyway. We probably need some new blood because you know what? I'm going to get a. We'll go obscure here. We'll go gray. We'll go gray for the D20 this time. We'll use a gray D20. All right. So anyway, Pete Incaviglia. Oh, there it is. My coffee cup was in front of was right in front of it. It was blocking my view. That's why I couldn't do it. So should I stick with the black D20 or should I go to the gray D20? That's the question. I guess we'll stick with the black since it showed up. We don't need the backup. All right, here is Pete Incaviglia. That's a 3-2 for Incaviglia, and that's a ground ball to short. Trammell is right there, one away. Larry Parrish. I will be taking a quick 7th inning stretch break to heat my coffee. Yes, Kent McCord, Roger, was the actor who played Reed. Absolutely, Kent McCord. And I kind of put Adam 12 and Emergency kind of together because they were both about the same time. They both had partners. And, you know, so Randolph Mantooth was on the Emergency show along with Kevin Tighe. Those are the two guys that played those characters. You also had Bobby Troop was one of the doctors who in real life was married to the nurse. Trying to figure out Julie London, I think her name was. All right. So here is Larry Parrish. That's a 5-6. Ground ball shortstop X. So we're going to give Trammell another chance. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. We're just trying to avoid that 6 because that was the one that gave him the big error. 6, 15, and 17. Got to avoid those numbers. And he does this time for 2 outs. I guess I'm getting confused on these celebrities because I'm not that familiar with what's going on there. But I thought, wasn't Michael Douglas, wasn't he married to Catherine Zeta-Jones, or was that somebody else? I know it was some famous older celebrity that married a very young Catherine Zeta-Jones, but I don't know if it was Michael Douglas or somebody else. I don't keep up with the tabloid stuff or the, celebrity stuff. I just seem to kind of remember that. But it might have been somebody besides Michael Douglas. Might have been another older actor. Here's Petralli, 3-8, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. For Petrie, that will be strikeout number 5. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. We are tied still at 4-4. That was Petrie's fatigue inning, but he gave up nothing. So he will keep full endurance. Oh, she plays golf? I didn't know that Catherine Zeta-Jones played golf. Did not know that. She was in a very interesting movie with Tom Hanks where he plays a foreign guy who gets stuck in the airport. I believe it was called Terminal, where he's in between countries. He can't come to the U.S. and he can't go back. So he kind of lives in the airport, and it turns into some sort of a romantic comedy or something. But I remember her in that movie. All right, so here is Kirk Gibson. 1-6, and that's a strikeout for Malloy, his second. 2 in a row if you go back to the last inning. So maybe Malloy is getting his second wind. We shall see. Here's Alan Trammell. 3-10 for Trammell. Split chance. 1-16 is a single. That'll be a base hit. He's 2 for 3. Is Trammell. All right, so Trammell needs a 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. Here's Matt Noakes. Oh, she was in the Ryder Cup. I did not realize that. I did not realize she was that much into golf. 3-8, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-10 is a single. That is a 10. So Matt Noakes with the base hit. First and second, only one out. And here's Pat Sheridan. Sheridan. 5-8. And that's going to be a 1-15 double. But that's a 17, so just a fly to right. And Malloy escaped that one. That could have been near disaster, but it was a fly out instead. D20 actually saved him on that one. And here's Johnny Grubb. Grubb is 0 for 2. 3-10. And look at this. Johnny Grubb in a clutch situation comes through. 3-10 is a fly to right, but in the clutch, it turns into a base hit. And I believe it's a two. I'll double check the rules, but I'm pretty sure it's a 2-star base hit. I should know that by heart, but I will check it just to verify for myself that I don't make a mistake. Yep, single 2 stars on the clutch hits. So Trammell will score. The Tigers take the lead 5-4. Noakes will go to third. And Johnny Grubb comes through in the clutch. In the clutch situation, as Jeff would say. Comes through. Now a 5-4 game. And here's Mike Heath. Mike Heath. Johnny Grubb from right here in Richmond, Virginia. That's where he was born and raised. Longtime Cleveland Indian and Texas Ranger, finished up his, and Padres, started with the Padres, then went to Texas and Cleveland, finishes up with Detroit, I imagine. Might have played somewhere else too, but not sure. Always a serviceable pinch hitter, and in his young career, he was a good outfielder. Here's Heath, 4-7, and that's a ground ball third base. See, there's a dot there, but his fatigue inning starts next inning, so he's not tired. It will just be a ground out to third to end the inning, but the Tigers take the lead 5-4 as we head to the 6th inning. 6th inning we go. And Petrie keeps full endurance from last inning, so he's got no fatigue against him yet. Don Slaught is your batter. Slaught. Kunkel and Brown do up for the Rangers. 6-8, and that's a leadoff walk. Not what Petrie wanted. Petrie had gotten back to control because he had lost control a little bit in the first 2 innings. That's his 4th walk, first walk since the 2nd inning. And Slaught is aboard. He is the tying run. Kunkel is your batter, and he's going to bunt. He's a B bunter. So we'll see what happens here. 4, 5, or 6, the corners are back. 1, 2, or 3, the corners are in. So the corners are back. He's going to maintain that B bunter. It's a 2, so it's going back to Petrie. And so we're going right back to the bunt chart with Petrie and Kunkel with the B bunter. So we're in this column right here. Basically, it needs a 9 or less. That's a 5. It's a good sacrifice. So the sacrifice hit is successful, 1-4. And Slaught will take second base. So the tying run is now in scoring position with 1 out. And that's going to take us to Jerry Brown. Brown 0 for 2. 4-5, switcher to bang left. That's a split chance. 1-3 is a single. That's an 8. It'll be a line out to second. Snagged by Whitaker, 2 down. And now it's going to be all up to O.B. McDowell in a clutch situation. McDowell in the clutch is rated 100% neutral except for 3-3. He gains a hit on 3-3. Everything else he is neutral on. But if he finds a 3-3, he'll get a base hit. Found a 4-5, and that's going to be a split chance, 1-3, but that's a 5. So again, another line drive to second. And McDowell has hit a liner to Whitaker 3 times in a row. And Petrie will keep the endurance going one more time. He'll pitch into the 7th. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 5-4 Detroit. And this is Malloy's fatigue inning, number 6. He'll be facing Brookins, Whitaker, and Evans. Trivia question in the top of the 8th. So be ready for that after the 7th inning stretch break. We'll come back, play the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th, and then get ready for the trivia question. Here's Brookins. 2-9 for Brookins is a single. Leadoff single for Brookins. He's 3 for 3 from the 9 hole. And that'll bring up Whitaker. Whitaker's a decent bunter, but he's too good of a hitter for me to bunt. I only want to bunt with the weaker hitters. I don't want to take the bat out of Whitaker's hands. 3-4, and it's a ballpark single check. That's not going to be good with a 1-2. So it's going to be well, I would normally go to ground ball first base B, but that's going to change who's on base, so I'm not going to do that. I'll go ahead and go with the line drive to second, which is the standard response when the ballpark single check fails. And actually, I'm having a line to first. Move it around where it won't affect it. Oh, no, I thought at first we were getting the circles. Looks like we're getting a little bit of unstabilization here. Hopefully that clears up. I'm hoping it does. Hope it does. I really don't want to have to reboot. So, all right. So Evans is up with 1 out. Brookins at first. 1-7, and he will draw a base on balls. That's something Evans did very well in his career, particularly in this season. 5th walk issued by Malloy, and now he's 1 out, 1 base runner away from being. He drew 100 walks, did Darrell Evans. Drew 100 walks in 1987, so he definitely was good at drawing the walks. And now with Gibson coming up, boy, I put the walk in the wrong spot, didn't I? What was I doing? Don't know what I was doing there, but I put it in the wrong spot, obviously. Scott Fletcher did not walk. That was Evans' walk. So first and second, and with Gibson up, we wonder if the Rangers might go to the bullpen here. Let's look at their bullpen and see if there's anybody that's overly fatigued or whether they can go to the bullpen. They will go to a left-hander, Ron Meredith. So that's it for Bob Malloy. He's going to leave the ball game. And lefty Ron Meredith, another marginal pitcher, will be on. Not exactly the M&M boys of the Yankee fame, but they are M&M in their lettering. So first and second, 1 out, and now we got a lefty on lefty matchup with Gibson, with Meredith coming into the game. So Meredith on the replay is 0-0 with no saves, a 6.75 earned run average. 12 innings pitched, 20 hits, 7 walks, 9 strikeouts. His ERA in real world was 6.10. So here we go. Meredith facing Gibson, lefty on lefty. We get a 1-7, and that's a 1 for a home run. And look at that. Did I even have to look and see what the D20 was? Was there any reason to look at all? Really? Was there any reason? Can somebody tell me if there's why I should have even looked over there? I mean, look at this result. 1-7. 1's a home run. Anything else he flies to right. Was there any doubt that that was going to be the result? Any doubt whatsoever? I mean, how many times can I document this that the 1 comes up probably about 15% of the time? That's probably a conservative estimate. There's no way in hell it comes up 5% of the time. It's just uncanny. So Kirk Gibson, thanks to the Devil Die, hits a 3-run home run off of Meredith. And I know Meredith is not happy about it. That's going to make 8 unanswered runs by the Tigers. Home run for Gibson is number 11 as well. So 3 of the Tigers hit their 11th home runs in this game. I'm sorry, no, I had Evans still up there. Hold on, let me see what it was really. That's number 7 for Gibson. My bad, number 7 for Gibson on the replay. Home run, RBIs 18, 19, and 20. So, like I said, You probably can, Tim. I mean, I'm just saying that I'm not making this stuff up. You're seeing it right here. But we can close the book now on Malloy. It's not going to be. He's going to most likely take the loss unless there's some miracle happening here. Here's Trammell. That's a 110, and that's a single to center field for Trammell. That'll bring up Matt Noakes. Trammell will be held on. He will not try to steal or anything. He'll just be held on. And won again. But fortunately for Meredith, he has no wild pitch rating. Pitch to Noakes. 3-6 lefty-lefty. It's a strikeout for Meredith. That's out number 2. So 2 down. Let me get this back over here a little bit. Looks like we're getting off the page here just a smidgen. So let's get it back in play. So Noakes out on strikes. Hey there, Action. Good to see you. I've thought about going back and looking at doing that myself, Action. Haven't done it yet, but the thought has definitely crossed my mind. All right, so Trammell singles and then a strikeout. 2 down for Pat Sheridan. Oops, moved him prematurely. It's Pat Sheridan's at bat. And with the lead, they're not going to pull him for a pinch hitter. They're just going to, well, we're in the 6th, so we can't pull him well, we could because they had a pitching change. But we're not going to do it. 1-8, that's a strikeout, but that's okay because they want him for his defense. So a 3-run home run from Kirk Gibson has given the Tigers an 8-4 lead. Once down 4-0, they are now down 8-4. And we'll go to the Strat computer and get the final numbers on Mr. Malloy in his major league debut. Unfortunately for him, he was done in by the evil D20. Malloy is going to go 5 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs. They were earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So without that 3-run homer, he could have got out of there 5 1/3 with just 3 runs. It would have been not a quality start, but at least a decent start. But the inherited runner took care of that. The inherited base runners came across on the home run from Kirk Gibson. And now Petrie back out, definitely refreshed after getting all this run support. And he'll face Scott Fletcher to start the top of the 7th. 4-8 for Petrie. And that's a 1-16 double. It's an 18, though, so it'll only be a single for Fletcher. Leadoff single. And down 8-4, they are not going to try to steal, not with Sierra coming up. So they will hold Fletcher at first. He will not go anywhere. This is Sierra. 5-2. That's a pitcher B, ground ball pitcher B. So that is going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to go 1-6 on the fielder's choice. Sierra, the new runner at first base. 1 down for Pete Incaviglia. That's a 4-8, and that's going to be another problem for Petrie. That same 4-8 roll is what he had to start the inning. Gets it again, but this time the double die puts it in the double category. 2 stars, though, so the runners cannot score. Sierra will have to stop at third base, but it's a double for Incaviglia. Now Petrie is on the verge of tiring, so the Tiger bullpen is starting to loosen. And we'll see who they have down there that's rested and who needs to be rested and so forth. Let's see here. Nate Snell is way overused. A lot of their bullpen is overused, no question about it. They have the guy that's the most rested actually is Eric King. So they're going to have Eric King loosening in the bullpen in case Petrie can't finish the inning. First, second and third, 1 out. Infield is back. Here's Larry Parrish. It's a 3-3 for Parrish, and that is a fly ball to center field B question mark. There's a clutch rating, but there are not 2 outs. There's only 1 out. So it's a fly ball center field B question mark. So it's possible sacrifice fly. Sierra runs at a 15. Center fielder Sheridan, though, is a -3. And if you're down by 4 runs, you may not want to take that chance. And I don't think they will. They will leave it up to Petrali, who's a pretty good hitter, to try to get the RBI hit here. So they could have tried to score on that, but knowing the way the D20 has been rolling, to be down by 4 and get thrown out the plate would not be a good look. So they're going to hold him there. Here's Petrali. 3-9 for Petrali. He walks, and that's going to load the bases. And now the tying run comes to the plate, and Don Slaught. He may get called back for a pinch hitter. We'll have to wait and see. Dan Petry now officially is tired since giving up that walk. He has reached his fatigue, so the dots will come into play. Let's look at the Texas bench and see if they've got anybody that they want to use as a pinch hitter. Of course, they have Pete O'Brien, who's normally the starting first baseman. They could use him as a pinch hitter, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to pull Don Slaught and use Pete O'Brien as a pinch hitter, and Darrell Porter will come in to catch. Porter not that good of a hitter, so they won't use him as a hitter. They'll use him to catch. Actually, no, they won't. Actually, what they'll do, they'll move Petrali from first to the catching position and then use O'Brien to play first base. That's what they'll do. So they'll keep Porter on the bench for pinch hitting possibilities. So Pete O'Brien is going to come in and pinch hit in a big spot here in the top of the 7th. And we'll get his numbers on the replay. Question is, do you let Petry, who is now fatigued, face him, or do you bring in Eric King from the bullpen? That's the decision Sparky has to make. That's what he gets paid the big bucks to do. Pete O'Brien on the replay is hitting .344, 9 homers, 27 runs batted in. The only lefty they got in the bullpen is Mark Thurmond. And I'm not sure he's all that great against lefties to begin with. But Sparky's going to make the move. It's not going to be Eric King. It's going to be Mark Thurmond, left-hander. So Mark Thurmond is summoned in from the bullpen for the Tigers. Mark Thurmond. And we'll get his numbers on the replay. Thurmond, 2-2 with 5 saves, but his ERA is 9.13 on the replay. 24 innings pitched, 38 hits, 9 walks, 8 strikeouts. He was a .423 ERA real world. So lefty on lefty matchup. And there are inherited runners on base that belong to Petry. Thurman's a 0, so he is a -2. All right, so Petry is going to go 6 2/3 innings. And he's given up a total of 6 hits. And then we'll fill in the rest later because we don't know what happens here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tying run at the plate in Pete O'Brien. Lefty on lefty matchup with Mark Thurmond. 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Trammell. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. His only error chances are 6, 15, and 17. He's already rolled a 6 once. He avoids it this time, and Mark Thurmond gets him out of the jam. Sparky pulled the right trigger there, made the right move, and gets him out of the inning. So Brian grounds to short to end the inning. No runs will score. And we go to the 7th inning stretch, but before I do the 7th inning stretch, we got some administrative things to do here. We have Petrali will move from first base to behind the plate, and Pete O'Brien will stay in the game to play first base. And we'll get the final numbers on Petry now that he is completed. Finish up his numbers, then we'll do the 7th inning stretch while I heat my coffee. Let's see, Petry 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, they were earned. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, but he is in line to improve to 4-1 on the replay if the Tigers can hold this 8-4 lead. Ron Meredith, who came in to face Gibson is going to come back out. He's got a fatigue of 2. He'll be facing Grubb, Heath, and Brookins, but Grubb will not hit. He only hit 4% of his at-bats came against lefties. So with the lefty in the game, Sparky will go to a right-handed designated hitter, and they will turn to Larry Herndon. So Herndon will come in and pinch hit for Grubb, and he'll stay in the game as the DH. Larry Herndon. Get the numbers on Herndon after we bring him in the game to face Meredith. Herndon on the replay. Checks in. 303 average, 4 homers, 9 driven in. He hit 324 real world and 225 at bats. So it'll be Herndon, Heath, and Brookins when we return. Right now, it is the 7th inning stretch time. Time to heat my coffee and take a quick 7th inning stretch break just for about a minute or so. And then we can continue. So, while I heat my coffee, you guys can enjoy the 7th inning stretch. All right, we are back from the 7th inning stretch break. Don't forget, we have a trivia question in the top of the 8th. But right now, we got the bottom of the 7th. And we'll carry on with that. Coffee has been heated, so I can finish it off in good taste. And just, I was cleaning out one of my old desk drawers the other day. Been meaning to show this, and I haven't gotten around to it, but I'm going to show it now. I found this. If you remember a CD case, I know CDs are kind of archaic now because of all the digital stuff. But what was on the other side? It was this. Stratomatic version 4.0. Stratomatic version 4.0. The copyright date is, I'm not sure if you can see it very well with that ring light. Let me take the ring light off. Maybe that will help. The copyright date on this, I'll try to get as close as I can. I don't know how well it's showing up here. Probably not very well at all. It's very small writing here. I know it's almost impossible to see this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get this done without, because now it's so dark you probably can't see it. But anyway, hard to see it on here, but it is 1999. 1999 is when my first experience with Stratomatic was. The computer version, long before I did Cards and Dice, I had a Stratomatic computer game in 1999. And you know what? If I still had a computer that had a CD-ROM drive in it,
I could put this in and it would look just the same now as it did back then. And that was ID Jester's point in his rant, is that they haven't upgraded the computer game for 25 years, basically. All right. So enough of that. We go on to the bottom of the 7th. Again, get your thinking caps on for the trivia in the top of the 8th. Right now, Larry Herndon will be facing Ron Meredith, pinch hitting for Johnny Grubb. 1-8, and that's going to be a fly to center, one away. So Herndon flies out. He'll stay in the game as a DH. Here's Mike Heath. That's a 3-6 against the lefty, and that is going to be a walk. So 1-out walk. 1-out walk. Heath will not go anywhere. That'll bring up Tom Brookins. Brookins is 3 for 3 from the 9 hole. That's a 111 against the lefty, and he's got a ballpark single. This time it's only a 7, so it'll just be a line out to short for out number 2. Devil Die behaved on that one. So 2 down and back to the top of the order for Lou Whitaker. Lefty on lefty matchup. Whitaker is 0 for 4 in this game. Despite the Tigers pounding out 10 hits and 8 runs, he's 0 for 4. I'm sorry, he's 0 for 3 with a walk. My bad. 5-7, and that's going to be an in-home run chance off of Meredith. Whitaker has the normal power. It's gone. Ron Meredith has given up another home run to a lefty. This one a 2-run homer. And Lou Whitaker probably put the icing on the cake with this one. Lou Whitaker, look at it again. 5-7, left-hander is a straight-up in-home run. He's got normal power. Whitaker, that's his 12th home run already for Whitaker in just 173 at-bats. He's now hit his 12th home run in at-bat 174. In 604 at-bats, he only had 16 home runs. So really, the power is really showing out here on Lou Whitaker. That's also RBI number 36 and 37 on the season. And the Tigers now lead it 10-4. Good buddy over the Texas Rangers. 2-7 for Evans as a strikeout to end the inning, but damage done. And that's going to be it for Meredith. They won't go any more with him. Meredith is going to go an inning and 2/3, and he's going to give up 4 hits, a total of 3 runs. Check that, 4 runs. 4 runs. Let's see here. 2. Give up 1 here, 3 there. Where am I getting my 4th run from? 3 runs, 2 here. Let me make sure my computer is correct and that I'm correct at the same time, and then we'll get to Kathy's trivia question. All right, so he's going to inning and 2/3, 3 hits. Just 3 hits. I got him for 4 hits. They're saying 3 hits. Oh, that's right, because down here was not him. That was somebody else. That was the starter, Malloy. So, yeah, 3 hits, not 4. But 4 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. So not a good outing, and the Rangers will have somebody come in and mop up the 8th inning, rather. So Thurman, with the score being what it is now, they will take Thurman out. He did his job. He pitched a 1/3 of an inning, got the key out that they needed. And they will bring in somebody to mop up, will the Tigers. So we're in the top of the 8th, so get your thinking caps on and check out the chat room area and watch out for Kathy's trivia question. See if you can provide an answer. It says here, I had a Cy Young season 1 year with a record of 27-10, 310 strikeouts. The next year was 13-20. I think I know who that is, but I will give others a chance because I kind of barked in early last time, but I'll give people a chance because I know who it is. Without question, I know who it is. Mr. Joel, I think you got it. So Eric King will come on to pitch. Thank you for that question, Kathy. Eric King will come on in a mop-up duty. It's 10-4 ball game, so no sense using your best pitchers. You might as well let them take a rest. So Eric King is going to come on the replay. King is 2-2 with 2 saves, 2.21 earned run average, 37 innings pitched, 30 hits, 9 walks, and 26 strikeouts. Due up for Texas to lead off is Jeff Kunkel, but they will pull him for a pinch hitter, and they will go to Kurt Wilkerson to pinch hit for Kunkel, and Wilkerson will stay in the game to play third base. They're going to go ahead and make sure Buechele gets the game off, so Wilkerson will take over for Kunkel in a pinch hitting role. Switch hitter. I believe he's also from Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Not Richmond, but somewhere close by. Let's see here. So we're going to the bench for Kurt Wilkerson. Wilkerson on the replay is hitting 250. He's only had 24 at bats so far. Hitting 250, no 1 homer, 2 driven inning at 268 real world. So Wilkerson going to get the call to pinch hit for Kunkel against King, 210. And that's a single to center field for Wilkerson. He gets a pinch hit single. Down 10-4, they're not going to run, obviously, so they'll hold him there. And that'll bring up Jerry Brown, the governor. That's a 5-7. That's ground ball shortstop X. Chance for a double play, perhaps, if we're looking at Trammell. Now, Trammell is responsible for holding the runner. They were holding Wilkerson on, but with a lefty batter up, the shortstop is responsible. So Trammell now becomes a 2E21. So the D20 will be necessary to roll because he's now a 2, because he's responsible for holding the runner. But I don't think that's going to matter. A 2 and a 9 is probably still a G1. 2 and a 9 is actually, no, it's a G2. So holding the runner is going to prevent a possible double play. That's a 9. And we've already seen that his error chances are 6, 15, and 17. So there's no error there, but it will be a fielder's choice, 6-4. So 6-4 fielder's choice. And Brown, the new runner at first base. Here's Oddibe McDowell. 2-8, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. That is out number 2. 2 down for Scott Fletcher. That's a 111 for Fletcher, and that's a fly to center again to end the inning. So the Rangers had a 4-0 lead after going to the bottom of the second, and it's been all Tigers since then. Rangers now will go to their bullpen, and let's see who it is that they want to bring in just to pitch the 8th inning. Somebody that needs some work, perhaps. New third baseman is going to be Kurt Wilkerson as he pinch hit for Kunkel. And let's see who the new pitcher is going to be. It's going to be Dale Mahorsic. Dale Mahorsic. Or it could be, let's see, wait a minute. Check one other thing here. Could be one other person if I have him carded. I don't remember if I carded him or not. Or if I have him as an extra player carded. Let's find out real quick. Yes, I do. He was carded by the game company, and that's Jeff Russell. So Jeff Russell, who's a recent call up, will be in to pitch for Texas. On the real season, he was 5-4 with a 4.44 ERA. So Jeff Russell, he spent a couple years as a closer for several teams, but early on in his career here, he's just basically trying to get through. So on the replay, Russell was up early in the season, went down, now he's back up. So he's 2-0 with a 3.60 ERA, no saves. Only 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So he's got 2 decisions already in just 5 innings of pitching. And he'll be facing Kirk Gibson. It's a 3-8, and that's going to be a walk. So Gibson will draw the base on balls. But again, up 10-4. They're not going to be running or anything like that. I mean, they'll hold him on, but they're not going to be running. Here's Trammell. That's a 6-5, righty on righty. That's a fly to center field. It's hauled in by McDowell. 1 away. Looking ahead to the 9th, it's Ruben Sierra, Incavilla, and Parrish, heart of the order for the Rangers. Here's Noakes. 4-6, and that's another walk for Jeff Russell. Yet another walk. Russell walked 52 in 97 innings in real world. So first and second with 1 out for Pat Sheridan. .412, that's a fly ball left field X. That's Incavilla. He's a 4.E16. That could be a trouble. 4.E16. 4-17, though. He catches a break. 4-17, he'll get to it, obviously. 4-17 is an F2. That is a 13, and he is an E16. E16, there's a 13 right there. 2-base error. 2-base error on Pete Incavilla. What do you know? 2-base error on Incavilla. When it rains, it pours. Gibson will score. Going to third is Noakes on the 2-base error by Incavilla, and Bobby Valentine, not a happy man right now. Each team now has committed 1 error. Second and third, 1 out. Infield is in just for the heck of it, not that it matters. And here is Herndon. 3-4, and that's a pop out to short, out number 2. 2 down, and Mike Heath, the batter. Hard to call this a clutch situation when it's 11-4, but technically it is. .38, and that's a 1-8 single. 14 there makes it a line out to short. So the unearned run comes in off of Russell. He'll give up a run which is unearned, and he's going to walk 2, not strike out anybody, and not give up a hit. So we go to the 9th with the score 11-4. Tigers pound out 11 hits to go with 11 runs. That's it for Russell. King will come out to mop up the rest of the game, facing Sierra, Incavilla, and Parrish. 11-4. 6-7. Sierra switcher to bang left. 6-7 is a strikeout by King. That's 1 away. And here comes Incavilla. He gets a Bronx cheer from the Tiger crowd. Thanking him for the gift. 4-10. And that's going to be a ground ball third base. Actually, looking at Brookins, he's a 3.E21 for Brookins. 3 and an 8 should be okay. 3 and an 8 is a G3. So that's good enough. That's an 11, and he is an E21. But there's an 11 right here for Brookins. Unbelievable. Another error. E21 and an 11. That is an 11. E21 third baseman is an 11. So Brookins will commit the error. That's why I didn't write the errors yet for Detroit, because they had a chance to make more. Texas does not. So Incavilla is on first base. Here's Larry Parrish. 6-10, and that is a ballpark single check, but again, only a 1. That's a 4. Double Die tried to go low, but not low enough. Fly ball to right, 2 down. Final out chance is coming to Gino Petralli, the catcher. Started as the first baseman, then moved to catcher. 5-6. And that's a strikeout for King to end the ball game. What an appropriate way to end it. 11-4, your final. As Petrale goes down on strikes. And what looked to be promising for Texas turns into an abysmal outing. Let's go to the box score and get the totals. 11 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors for Detroit. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Texas. Winning pitcher Dan Petrie is now 4-1. Malloy takes the loss. He is now 0-1. Finished the numbers on King. He went 2 innings, and he gave up 1 hit. That was it, and 2 strikeouts. So nice outing there for King, just to get a mop-up roll in there. And game 300 is in the books. Tigers win it. They improved to 23-20. Rangers dropped to 19-23. And there's one more game left on the May 26th docket, and it will be Milwaukee and Minnesota from Milwaukee. It'll be right-hander Bert Blyleven for the Twins against left-hander Juan Nieves for the Brewers. So you have Bert B-Home Blyleven for the Twins and Juan 19th Nieves breakdown for Milwaukee. That will be the game tomorrow morning. It'll also be the return of Paul Molitor from injury. He'll get his first start since he was injured back in April. And, hopefully it will be a good game. But 300 games are in the books. Not a milestone, but a benchmarker just to kind of keep track of where I'm at. I'm probably about 25% through this thing now, thereabouts. Let's see. Texas with the loss drops into a tie with California, 4.5 back of Oakland. With the win, Detroit pulls to within 5.5 of first place Toronto, with Milwaukee a half game back and the Yankees 1 game back. So tomorrow morning, Milwaukee and Minnesota from Milwaukee. Blyleven against the left-hander Nieves. And then we move on to May 27th, and that's where all the teams will start in. And we'll figure out who we're going to. Looks like it's going to be a interesting matchup in the first game. We go back to Fenway Park. It'll be the Cleveland Indians and the Boston Red Sox. Phil Niekro against Roger Clemens. That'll be the first game on May 27th date. Cleveland and Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Cleveland and Boston. Niekro against Clemens. That'll be the first matchup there. Also have new matchups of California at Baltimore. And also Oakland at Toronto. And Seattle will be at New York. And they also have Texas at Detroit, Milwaukee at Minnesota, and Kansas City at Chicago. And the scam likely comes in right at the last minute there. How about that? All right, so that concludes this one. If you missed it last night, we had Game 1 of the 1978 World Series in season ticket baseball. Yankees won that game 4-3 to take a 1-0 lead in the series. Game 2 will be tonight, roughly around 8:30, 8:45, somewhere in that neighborhood. And it'll be Catfish Hunter for the Yankees against Bert Hooton for the Dodgers. So that will be tonight on season ticket baseball. All right, so I do appreciate you all spending part of your Wednesday morning with me. Hope you all enjoyed this presentation of Stratomatic. Thank you to Kathy for the trivia questions. Thank to everyone else for participating and being here and making it a fun time. And the Tigers win it. So I know Chuck is happy. Tigers win it 11-4. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.